everyone, it's me, Darlene. I am here to put together these quilt blocks for our Scrappy Quilt Along. And I just this very moment realized that I haven't trimmed any of these yet. I was supposed to do that. I've been a little bit busy. If you want to catch up on this series, there is a playlist link in the description box, along with a link to my blog that will allow you to get the diagram and all the size pieces you need to make this quilt. I am going to trim. I'm going to trim to 12 inches. Should not take me too long. Doesn't matter if it does, because you're going to be seeing me again in a split second. I have them all trimmed. I actually stacked and trimmed 2 at a time, but I will say I had some that were a hair under 12. I couldn't quite get 12 inches, and that's okay. I will just adjust while I'm sewing. I can move them and do a smaller seam allowance on one of them. I don't know, hard to explain. What I'm trying to tell you is you may want to trim down to 11 3/4 or even 11 1/2. You know, if you have generous 1/4 inch seams, the block will be a little smaller than expected. If you're concerned, I would just measure each block and see what your smallest block is and go with that. Now I have to lay them out because I haven't done that yet. I am going to keep the dogs all in the same direction, and somewhere there's a little dog motif, not sure where. I want to keep that in the same direction also. In other words, I'm going directional. I'm not going to just mix everything up. So let me lay that out and we will get started sewing this together. This was pretty easy. I just laid them out and I knew I had 6 dogs. So there's 1 in the top row, and then on the ends I put 2 more. So 1, 2, 3, and then I repeated that. 1, 2, 3. And that worked out. There were a couple that I had to adjust because they were like really matchy-matchy with the dogs. Like this one, I don't know if you can see way down here. I have 2 big blocks of purple going on. So if I wanted to, I could try to swap this one out. Maybe with this one here, kind of like that. How would that look down there? Oh, I think that works good. So I just separated, 2 big pieces of purple that were side by side. But I don't think I have anything like really matchy-matchy. I have some diagonals happening, like this one is a little bit diagonal to this one. I like that. I laid these out 3 across by 4 down. And I am just going to start with my top row. I like to sew, in rows like this, not columns. So I'm just going to put the top row together. If you see things floating around, it's because I have the ceiling fan on in here because these lights kill me. I did want to mention what? What did I want to mention? I had to take a break and think about what I wanted to say because I thought it was important. And it was. This quilt top will be on eBay starting at 1 penny, free shipping, and it is for USA only. Didn't want to forget to tell you that. And there'll also be a slideshow at the end. I might put like all the blocks that I've made in that slideshow, and then the grand finale, which you're really not going to be able to see all that great because of my setup. I never am set up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish the other rows. That one was super easy, and it's coming out so cool. Look at this. Oh my gosh, I just love it. I will put together the other rows, and then we'll start joining them. I have my 4 rows done, and now I'm going to join them. I want to stop and say for a second that I really love how this turned out. I used a lot of different fabrics. I don't know how many prints there are, but I also repeated most of them. I think there are some fabrics in here that have no repeat, but it's just, I don't know, it's just cool. And I know that some of you are afraid to mix a lot of prints. You think it needs to be something that goes together, and I'm telling you, it doesn't. The only thing I would do differently is I would like a 5th row because I like a long rectangular quilt. I'm a blanket kind of person. I don't like a boxy kind of quilt. But this is where I am stopping. It's 3 by 4. I'll give you the measurements at the end. You can make as many squares as you need, and you can turn them. Even if you make one that's identical to another, you can turn it to make it a little bit different as long as there's nothing directional going on. And I don't know if I mentioned at the beginning, but say you need an 8-inch square and you don't have an 8-inch piece of fabric. Sew some fabrics together and then cut an 8-inch square and it'll work. You don't have to have these, big pieces if you don't have scraps that big. Let me finish this up. I am going to sew my 4 rows together and then we'll talk about it. I'm done, and it came out great. I'm sure yours did too. I do want to remind you that if you bid on this on eBay, it is for the quilt top only, exactly what you see here. I don't add batting and a backing. I certainly don't quilt it. You don't even need to ask me if I will finish this for you because the answer is no. You can add whatever you want for a backing. You can also add borders, and if you want it longer than wide, you can always make the borders on the top and bottom, longer than what it is on the side. And as I've stated before, you can add more blocks if you need king size. Make whatever size you need. If you are new to quilting or to piecing, I hope that this helped you with your cutting skills. Even I screwed up, remember that. And in the back, I was doing such a good job not flipping seams, but then I kind of flipped some today just by joining. So there are flipped seams, but I pressed everything, should be good to go to its new home, to whoever gets this on eBay. And I'm going to do something else, so please subscribe. It won't be something as complicated as this, even though I found the piecing to be very simple, and certainly putting the squares together was a breeze. It was a little bit time consuming to design all the blocks and to do the cutting. I would love to do cutting, but when I have a business, I don't have time to do that. So the next thing we do together will be easy and not time consuming. I'll probably knock something out in one video. That's the way I like to do things. Thank you so much for watching. Stick around for the slideshow. Go check out the links down below for the pattern for this quilt and for the auction that, if you're watching in the future, obviously that is over. And I'll be back with more soon. Bye.